All right, y'all. So, friend of the show, Keith Edwards, had on a doctor here. And according to his title, Trump has 2 to 4 months to live, according to the doctor. That is quite a beefy claim, if I don't say so myself, or if I do say so myself, whatever the saying is. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to break it down. We're going to see if it's convincing. Let's get it.
For the past several weeks, many Americans have been watching Donald Trump and asking the exact same question. What is happening to the president? His public appearances have raised real concerns about his health and his cognitive state. Joining me today is Adam, a licensed physical therapist with 14 years of experience in home healthcare and a doctorate of physical therapy. Now, you might know him. He's gone viral for being one of the few medical professionals willing to speak openly about what we're all seeing.
I will say, though, to be fair, my mom is a physical therapist. To say that that person is really qualified to say from afar at that, oh, he's going to be dead within 4 months. It's a bit of a stretch. It's
Physical and neurological decline. So, what do these recent clips actually tell us about Trump's condition? And how serious is it? Let's take a look. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate your time, and I know you're very busy, so thank you. And what a moment for us to be meeting over is, this is what you do. You assert that the president has dementia and that there is clear signs of it. And it's probably, aside from the Epstein files, one of the biggest cover-ups in American history. Would you say that's correct?
That is correct. What I see from him leads me to believe he has frontotemporal dementia specifically. And the context of that dementia is actually a malignant narcissism, which makes it even more fun.
Got it. And what got you kind of onto this path? Because is it just that no one else is talking about it, or why did you feel like it was important that you had your voice out here?
So I was not thinking about Trump's health until I saw his feet and ankles and the degree of swelling that he had. And as soon as I saw that, obviously the focus of what we talk about is his cognitive decline. But when I saw that, it looked exactly like the patients I have that have congestive heart failure and or chronic kidney disease.
Oh.
So really, the first video I made talking about it, that's what actually got my account off the ground.
He's saying that when the White House argues that's just chronic venous insufficiency and it's no big deal. He's saying, no, that's congestive heart failure or that's chronic kidney disease, which is much more serious. Okay, all right, that, you might be onto something here, fellow.
So that's where it started. And then I discovered, for just one example would be Dr. John Gardner, a former associate professor at Johns Hopkins University, who has been warning the world that Trump is a malignant narcissist, but also has dementia. He's a danger to American society as an elected official. So once I saw how much swelling he had, I knew the White House was lying. They're lying that it's chronic venous insufficiency. That swelling does not have that degree or character from CVI. It's something way more systemic. So that's how it started.
Well, let's look at some of these videos. We have videos and images to look at. First, let's just check this out. When we see this, now obviously, like this photo has gone, like we've all seen this photo, but what we have talked about on the channel previously was that this is a sign of a stroke. But you assert that this may actually, in fact, be a sign of dementia. What are you seeing here that I'm not?
Well, I do actually think it is a symptom of a stroke. The right side of facial droop is the result, most likely, of a stroke event on the left side of the brain, which we call right-sided facial droop. He's also demonstrated weakness in his right arm and leg, and the facial droop or facial weakness is not in his forehead, and that would differentiate it from something like Bell's palsy. So I think at some point, most likely around Labor Day, he had some sort of stroke or stroke-like event, whether it was full-blown CVA or a TIA, and that's why he disappeared.
I remember that, and I'm sure all you guys remember that too, because everybody started going, after like day 4 or 5, everybody was like, where the fuck is Trump? Because this is a guy who cannot stay away from the cameras. From the second he got down that escalator in 2015, he has not been able to stay away from cameras. All he wants is to be in front of those cameras. And so he's gone for like 4 days, 5 days. Everybody's like, where the fuck is Trump? I think it was like 7 days before he came back. And so the theory was he had a mini stroke and he was dealing with the fallout. They were trying to hide it. He was trying to recover, that something was going on and they weren't fucking letting us in on it. And then this happened soon after that. That's interesting theory, because everybody was saying mini strokes at the time. There was some reason to believe it would be mini strokes.
And he was getting
That's when he disappeared, right?
Yep.
He disappeared during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And did he show up looking like this on the way back, or was this beforehand? I can't remember the timeline. Do you know?
So this was September the 11th. I can't remember where Labor Day falls in September off the top of my head, but he was sitting at this is the 9/11 memorial, where he's seated for a long time for the ceremony, all of which he could absolutely care less about, of course. But as he starts to get fatigued, the stroke symptom in his face starts to come out. The more tired he is, the more all of his symptoms will become apparent. So I believe that's what we're seeing there in that photo.
Now, why? Because I feel like this is not as pronounced as it used to. And I'm not a doctor. So do those signs go away after does it eventually like even out, or it can get better after a stroke?
Yeah, it depends on how severe it is. The brain exhibits what we call neuroplasticity, which is the ability for it to actually rewire itself to a certain degree or to heal from an ischemic event such as a stroke or TIA. So that explains why stroke patients can recover, but it is determinant on, how severe it was and what kind of health you were in beforehand. If he were my patient, I would tell him, you're extremely lucky that the stroke didn't completely paralyze your right side. And you actually have shown a measure of improvement before I got to you for home health physical therapy. So you better start behaving, because once you have one, it's not a guarantee you'll have another one, but it certainly makes it easier. That's kind of the conversation I would have with him as my patient. So it can improve. It just depends on whether the patient cares enough to abide by medical advice, which he doesn't.
Which, by the way, there's actual reporting on that. So one of the things he was supposed to wear was these compression socks. He says, I don't like them. They're not comfortable. I don't wear them. He also has been taking an ungodly high dose of aspirin because he says, like, I take this much aspirin because I don't want that thick blood running through my heart. I want nice thin blood running through my heart. Does that make sense? Meanwhile, you talk to doctors and they're like, nobody should be taking this dosage of aspirin on a regular basis. It's not good for you. And the only time you would take that dosage is if you just had some sort of big medical event. So it could be evidence he recently had a big medical event, or he could just be blowing off doctor's orders because he claims he's been taking that much aspirin for like fucking decades. So I don't know, but it doesn't seem good. It doesn't seem good. Whatever it is, he's not following the recommendations of the doctors. And then don't get me started. That Wall Street Journal article, I think it was Wall Street Journal. They talked about how he ate McDonald's, and they talked about how homie had like a quarter pounder with cheese, a fish fillet, fries, a drink, and was there a Big Mac too? Or no, I think it was like chicken nuggets too. Like 2 sandwiches, chicken nuggets, fries, and a drink. Like, dog, that's how I ate when I was like 19 years old. What are you talking about? I can't even eat that much now, and I'm a pretty big eater. This is how he's eating. Oh my God, he's on borrowed time. I'm talking myself into thinking it's going to be 4 months or less, but that's a little bit of an aggressive timeline.
All right, now we have clips from, these are just from the past week, everyone. This is just from the past week. I'm going to let's just show this clip from when they're treating him like a Make-A-Wish kid, where they just keep giving him awards that mean nothing. And this one, they had a street named after him. And here's what he had to say.
Than they've ever done before. They're up 78% in many cases. But starting on day one, we fully secured our Southern Boulevard and and think of it, as we were securing Southern Boulevard, making Florida great, we're also securing a thing called the Southern Border and making that great, and we stopped the invasion.
So there, I mean, obviously what he did was he meant to say Southern Border. He said Southern Boulevard. Now, I guess, listen, I think with Joe Biden, obviously there were signs of some mental fatigue for Joe Biden, but I think everything was a crisis. Every slip up that are just normal slip ups. That to me seemed different because he's obviously wanting to say border, but he says boulevard. And then I think he's trying to correct himself again, and he still says boulevard. And then obviously he understands what's happening. So he just then tries to segue into something that can tie it together. So what's happening there?
What's happening is the full Brandonization of Trump right in front of our eyes.
So I think it's called a phonemic paraphasia. It's the inability to pronounce a word correctly, or you just reach for the wrong word. And he has this.
He does it a lot.
He does it a lot. I think he has a longstanding difficulty reading to begin with, and he's hid that with his ego. He's hid that with his malignant narcissism. He's never cared to be a person of any academic repute because he knows. He's just reaching for actual power over other people and not actually being a person that somebody could actually respect for their authentic intelligence. But he's when he says something wrong, he backs up and he attempts to make it sound natural. His frontal lobe for frontotemporal dementia, it's named so because the frontal lobe and the temporal lobes are starting to atrophy inside the skull. And if you took an MRI of a frontotemporal dementia patient's brain, you see less brain matter, and you actually start to see a gap or space form between the brain matter and the skull because the neurons are literally dying. The frontal lobe is our filter. It's our reality tester. It keeps us from saying the stuff that we should not say, even if we're all thinking it. He is losing that ability to filter what he says or doesn't say, and reaching for the wrong word is a downstream effect of that.
Which, by the way, that's exactly where you get "quiet, piggy." Remember that? He yells at a female reporter, and he goes, "Quiet, piggy." Also, he screamed at a reporter when he was at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, "What are you, a stupid person? Are you a stupid person?" This is all stuff that, like, yes, Trump is the id of the Republican Party. He always has been. But this is a level above where he ever was in the past. It wasn't this aggressive. It wasn't screaming "quiet, piggy" at a female reporter or "you're a stupid person," at berating, chastising a reporter at Mar-a-Lago. And look, there's been signs of this for a while. When he was on the campaign trail, remember when he stopped a town hall event to like be a DJ and he would sway back and forth while listening to Ave Maria, and everybody was looking around going, what the fuck is he doing? And then there was the speech where he told a long story about Arnold Palmer's cock. And everybody's looking at him like, what the fuck is this? And it's happening more and more now. It's happening more and more. So go watch the rest of the clip on Keith Edwards' YouTube channel. And this is the thing that has convinced me the most, is I think it's Alzheimer's. I think it's Alzheimer's. His dad had Alzheimer's. He died at 86 with a severe case of it. Trump's risk is now 3 to 15 times higher because of his family history. His nephew says he already sees signs of it in Trump, that, you know, that they're very sure that that's what it is. You have Trump, remember, he would have these injections in his hand and he would have the bruising in his hand. Well, there's this drug called Leqembi, which they inject in that same time frame. And it would make sense that he's getting it in both hands, and that's why his hands are bruised. And yeah, we've seen it, man. The first thing to go is his executive function and his impulse control. The impulse control is gone. There's part of one of the... and this one is kind of crazy because, like, Trump already lied a lot. But one of the symptoms is called confabulation, which is basically described as honest lying. So, like, you lie, but you're super convinced you're telling the truth. And that's like the $18 trillion investment in the country, the stopping 8 wars. Like, he says it so much, he actually thinks it's true, even though it's not even close to true. Then you have this decline in verbal complexity. We've seen that. Repetition and fixation, that is textbook Trump. Sundowning. Gait abnormalities. We've seen those gait abnormalities when he's walking. Remember when he's getting off the plane to see Putin when they had the meeting, he couldn't walk straight. You had the red carpet that was there and he couldn't walk straight on it. He was falling all over the place. There's another video of him walking with a kid in the White House where he put all the pictures of all the presidents in the auto pen for Biden. He's walking around showing a kid that, and he's like wobbling back and forth. So there's reason to believe something's going on, dog. Something's going on. But it is an aggressive prediction to say 2 to 4 months. That's an aggressive prediction right there. But I don't know. You tell me. I guess we'll find out together. But yeah, we're not in a good place right now. I'll say that.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.